All right, Senate, if we can go ahead and grab our seats. All right. I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Senate to order. Will you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, Senate, we'll go ahead and move into first roll call. I ask that everyone go ahead and keep your voices down so we can get through it quickly.
All right, guys, we're going to get started here. I'm going to go through alphabetically and call all your names. If I mispronounce it, just let me know and I'll change it. And when I call your name, just say here. Al Abdullah, Almadani, Beasley, Betancourt, Booz, Burke, Carlson, Clements, Colburn, Cruz, Dowd, Garcia, Gillian King, Gillespie, Glasscock, Gertson, Grover, Hamlin, Heatherman, Hines, Howie, Huffman, Jabin, Kavanaugh, Kelly, Kerperin. Is that how you pronounce that? Okay. Kidd, King, Koger, Coleman, Leverett, Lux, Matos, Meinhardt, Newport, Oxner, Orzakowski, Pelton, Polson, Pruse, Rice, Rivera, Reichert, Sleichter, Smith, Ben Snyder, and Blaine Snyder, Spellman, Spencer, Stone Street, Wallace, Ward, Watkins, and Whitmer. All right, we have 49 senators present, 0 excused, and 6 absent.
All right, with that, we'll now move into first open period. Our first open period speaker this evening is Chris Kleiman, our K-State football head coach. All right, what questions are there for our speaker? Chief Senator Polson. Further questions? Senator Beasley. All right, further questions? Senator Meinhardt. All right. Are there any? I appreciate everything. Thanks so much. And go Cats. Thank you so much for coming. All right. Are there any more speakers for first open period? Senate, if we could keep our voices down, please. All right. We'll now move into approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator King. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes if there are no objections. The minutes are approved. We'll now move into announcements for the week. Applications are open for Cabinet, Senate Executive Committee, SJA Treasurer, SJA Intern Coordinators, and SJA Communications Director. So if you have an interest in any of those positions, and Judicial, which will be on the agenda for next week. So if you have an interest in any of those positions, please feel free to apply to those links. Proxies for today, Orzechowski for Peyton. And the quote of the week: discourse and critical thinking are essential tools when it comes to securing progress in a democratic society. But in the end, unity and engaged participation are what make it happen. Aber Johnny. We will now move into approval of appointments. I saw a hand. Intern Hines. If we could we swear in senators before we move into the approval legislation? All right. So the way this will work, everyone, since last term we already approved the election results of Student Senate, all we have to do is call you up to the front of the room and we have to swear you in. So the way that we're going to do this for the new term is we're going to go by academic college. So I'll call your college and I'll ask you all to come up, take the oath of office, and then introduce yourself with your name, major, hometown, and favorite smell. So with that, we will start with the College of Agriculture. And Senate, also, if we could continue to be quiet as we make our way to the front of the room, that'd be very helpful. Thank you so much. All right, if you all could raise your right hands. This will be the same for everyone, so please pay attention. I will read a statement, and at the end, if you could say, I do. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. I do. All right, wonderful. Thomas, if you could start us off, name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
So my name is Thomas Smith. I'm a sophomore here studying Ag Econ with a specialty in global food systems leadership, and I'm from McPherson, Kansas. And I say my favorite smell is like right after that nice spring thunderstorm.
My name is Reed Huffman. I will be a senior. I'm studying animal science industry. I'm from Jacksonville, Illinois, and my favorite smell is Fresca hay.
My name is Alan Hines. I am a sophomore in agricultural economics with a specialty option in pre-law from Tonganoxie, Kansas. And my favorite smell is pastures burning in the spring.
My name is Casey Kirprin. I'm a sophomore in agronomy from Taos, Missouri, and my favorite smell is vanilla.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley Slichter from Abilene, Kansas, and I am in agribusiness, and my favorite smell is freshly cut alfalfa.
My name is Noah Oxner. I'm originally from Tribune, Kansas, and I'm a freshman studying agriculture, communications, and journalism with a minor in political science. And my favorite smell would have to be a wheat field during and after it's been cut.
Hey all, I'm Michael Dowd from Olathe, Kansas, and I'm majoring in animal science with secondary major in global food systems leadership. And favorite smell would have to be like pine, but like more specifically like animal bedding. So.
All right, if we could give our College of Agriculture senators a round of applause. All right, our next college we're going to have come up is the College of Architecture. Is there a representative from the College of Architecture here with us today? Senate, if we could go ahead and keep our voices down, it'd be great. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the College of Business. Could the College of Business please come to the front? Not skipping, we're just kind of jumping around. Okay, did you notice I was like, okay, yeah, come up, yeah. All right, if you all could raise your right hand, and at the end if you could say I do. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right, if you could introduce yourself with your name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
All right, my name is Hannah Heatherman. I'm from Ottawa, Kansas, a finance major with an organizational management secondary, and my favorite smell is Draft, which is like baby laundry detergent.
All right, I'm Bryson Meinhardt. I'm from Marysville, Kansas. I'm majoring in finance with a minor in ag business. My favorite smell, it's actually kind of weird, but you know when you like open up the tennis balls, like the new container, smells really good.
I'm Cameron Koger from Overbrook, Kansas. I'm a freshman studying marketing with a minor in leadership study. My favorite smell is Nugget Night in the Derb.
That's good. All right. I'm Blaine Snyder. I'm a sophomore from Manhattan, majoring in management information systems, pre-law. And my favorite smell is probably fresh blueberry muffins.
I'm Sarah Pelton. I am a sophomore majoring in marketing and minoring in Ag Econ. Oh, and my favorite smell is the new car smell, but not like the little trees, like when you actually like buy a new car.
My name is Thomas Reichert. I'm a sophomore, going to be a junior, majoring in finance, and my favorite smell is probably fresh cut grass.
Hi, I'm Reagan. I'm from Wichita studying marketing, and my favorite smell is lavender.
Hi guys, I'm Sadie Polson. I'm a junior studying marketing with a minor in agricultural economics from Frankfort, Kansas. And the other day, I guess Tuesday, I walked out of Waters, and it was the first time I smelled like pasture burning, and it was amazing. So that's my favorite smell.
All right, thank you, College of Business. All right, next we will have the College of Arts and Sciences senators. Please come to the front. All right. If you all could raise your right hand, please. And at the end, if you could say, I do. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the job of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right. If you could introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, my name is Julia Howie. I'm a freshman in life sciences, and my favorite smell is the smell of my grandma's house.
Hi, my name is Marissa Lux. I'm a freshman in open option, minoring in leadership studies. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, and my favorite smell right now would be freshly baked chocolate chip banana bread.
My name is Haley Spellman. I'm a senior majoring in political science and communication studies. I'm from Emporia, Kansas, and my favorite smell is coffee.
Hey guys, I'm Natalie Jabin, and I'm a sophomore in political science and philosophy, and my favorite smell is the Yankee Candle Sun and Sand.
It's very beachy.
Hey everyone, I'm Saiba Grover. I'm a junior studying medical biochemistry and microbiology. I'm from Lenexa, Kansas. Don't laugh at me. And my favorite smell is lavender.
Hey everybody, I'm Nathan King. I am from Troy, Kansas, and I'm going to be a senior, and I'm studying journalism and mass communications. Shout out to the Collegian. My favorite smell is freshly cut grass. I was going to be the first one, but somebody beat me to it.
I'm Lily Colburn. I'm a freshman studying political science, environmental science, and nonprofit leadership. I'm from Manhattan, and my favorite smell is eucalyptus mint.
I'm Sarah Wallace. I am studying medical biochemistry. I'm from Overland Park. And you know when your car lets out that really musty air conditioning? I like that.
My name is Emily Matos. I am from Overland Park, Kansas. My major is American Ethics Studies and Political Science, and my favorite smell is the ocean.
Hi everyone, my name is Faisal Madani. I am a junior majoring in physics. I am from Los Angeles, California. If you're wondering about the accent, I'm originally from Emirates. Favorite smell, last time I think I said it was board markers. This time I change. It's nail polish. They're also oddly addictive. I need help.
Hi guys, my name is Olivia Proust. I'm a sophomore studying biology, and my favorite smell is waffles.
Hey guys, my name is Trey Kuhlman. I am a freshman in political science. I'm from Stockton, and normally I'd say coffee, but because I want to shout out to the College of Ag, I'm going to say blue corduroy jackets.
Hi, friends. My name is Michael Leverett. I'm a senior majoring in social sciences with a minor in American ethnic studies. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and my favorite smell is lemons. I've been doing the detox water thing, and right now, lemons is where it's at.
All right, thank you, Arts and Sciences. All right, if we could now have the College of Education please come to the front. Your preference. All right, if the three of you could go ahead and raise your right hands, please. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Wonderful. All right, if you could introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Nick Beasley. I'm a sophomore studying secondary education with an emphasis in social studies, not speech, clearly. I'm from Topeka, Kansas, and my favorite smell, like grandma's house smell, my grandma's perfume. That's good stuff. Bad choice of words.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn Gillespie. I'm a freshman studying secondary ed social studies. I'm from Manhattan, Kansas. My favorite smell is orange and cloves.
Okay, I'm Tel Whitmer. I'm going to be a junior in secondary education social studies. Technically, I'm pre-law. I don't do anything, but it's on my transcript. I think I'm also like two other majors that I forgot to drop off my DARs. It's really confusing, but my favorite smell is my grandma. Like, it has been for the last 2 years, but I'm glad we have a lot of people that like their grandmas now. So.
Can our College of Engineering senators please come to the front of the room? Great, and if you can. All right, if you all could raise your right hands, please. All right. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right, wonderful. Matt, if you could introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Matt Rosakowski. I am a first-year senior in industrial engineering and political science. I am from Olathe, Kansas, and my favorite smell is coffee.
Hi, guys. I'm Ben Snyder. I'm a sophomore studying mechanical engineering with a minor in nuclear. I am from Shawnee, Kansas. My favorite smell is probably a bonfire, but only while you're at the bonfire.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Boos. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, and I'm currently studying computer science. I'm a freshman studying computer science. And I'd probably say my favorite smell is like after a nice spring rain, not a thunderstorm, a rain.
I'm Sydney Clements. I'm a sophomore studying chemical engineering from Salina, Kansas, and my favorite smell are the lilacs that bloom in my yard.
Hey there, my name is Creighton Glasscock. I'm from Manhattan, Kansas. I'm a freshman. I'm majoring in computer science and math, and my favorite smell is either before or after the rain, not during.
I'm Olivia Hamlin. I'm a sophomore currently. I will be a junior studying chemical engineering. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, and my favorite smells probably chlorine. Wait, no, not like the deadly chlorine gas, like pool chlorine. Okay.
All right, human ecology senators, please come to the front of the room. All right, if you all could raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right, wonderful. If you could introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Spencer and I'm majoring in nutritional sciences with a minor in kinesiology. And I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and my favorite smell would be rain, like half of the people here, I feel like.
Hey guys, my name is Jeremy Newport. I'm a sophomore from Andover, Kansas. I'm studying kinesiology with a minor in business, and my favorite smell is mahogany teakwood.
Hi, I'm Bryn Carlson. I'm from Woodbury, Minnesota, studying dietetics, human nutrition, and kinesiology. I'm a sophomore, and my favorite smell is like when you get off of an airplane and you finally smell fresh air again.
Hi, I'm Morgan Betancourt. I'm from Wamego, Kansas. I'm a freshman studying apparel marketing, and my favorite smell is fresh baked brownies.
I'm Ethan Rice. I'm a sophomore in personal financial planning from Moundridge, Kansas. And my favorite smell is kind of like a natural light smell, something like a spring rain.
I'm Peyton Kavanaugh. I'm a freshman from Salina, Kansas. My major is kinesiology pre-med, and my favorite smell is a campfire.
Could our graduate student senators please come to the front of the room? All right, if you all could raise your right hands, please. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I do.
All right, Scott, if you could introduce yourself.
That kind of worked out backwards. I'm Scott Heisey. I grew up in Idaho and Utah. I'm currently a graduate student in communication studies and community development. And my favorite smell, I'm going to flip the script, is my wife. And not because she reminds me of my grandma.
That's a good one. I'm Camila Rivera. I'm a graduate student of architecture. There's another thing. Oh, hometown. Kansas City, Missouri. Family's all in Texas. And my favorite smell is probably the laser cutter on some chipboard. Yeah, it's the best.
Hi guys, my name is Caleb Gertzen. I'm a graduate student getting my master's in public administration. I'm from Hiawatha, Kansas, and my favorite smell is like when it's really cold outside and you get that whiff of wood smoke in the distance. Like that one, yeah.
All right, good evening, Wildcats. My name is Marcus Kidd. I am a doctoral student in the Counseling Student Development Program in the College of Education. I am from Manhattan, Kansas, born and raised, Ultimate Townie. And my favorite scent, they're all taken, so I had to reach in my backpack for my cologne. It's John Varvatos cologne. It smells really good. I can't really compare it to anything because it's a cologne and you can't really look those up. You can't really look up scents, but it's like Axe, but like personified and just smells a lot better. So.
Hi, y'all. My name's Abigail Ann King. I'm a graduate student doing my master's in college student development. I'm from Urbana, Illinois, and my favorite scent is probably chocolate chip cookies because I'm basic. So, yeah.
And last but not least, we have Vet Med. All right, Madeline, if you could raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the job of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Perfect. Okay, hi, I'm Madeline Burke, and I'm a first year in the vet school, and I'm actually doing the concurrent DVM MPH, so I'm working on 2 degrees right now. I'm really interested in zoo medicine and also primate research, so that's where I'm going with that. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and my favorite smell is grapefruit. That's me.
All right, and we do have a couple more people to get sworn in today, not big groups of people. So Vice President Pitts, if you could come forward. What? No, I didn't know if it was like outgoing student. Okay,
Ollie. We're actually going to duet. All right, you have to repeat after me. I think, how does this work? Oh, cool. So you just, all you say is I do. Just 2 words, you should get it. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Body Vice President and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Awesome. Here's your student body vice president. Good job. You have to hug me. What?
What's up, Wildcats? My name is Ollie Karamali. I'm a sophomore studying chemical engineering pre-law from Overland Park, Kansas. And my favorite smell, if you've been on campus over the summer, the smell of Waters Hall in the middle of summer, so good.
Okay. Raise your right hand and then say I do. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Body President and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Yay. Congrats.
Hey guys, my name is Jansen Penny. I'm a junior studying industrial engineering from Burlington, Colorado, and the College of Ag just wiped out my 1 through 7 choices. And so we're kind of getting down there. But when you're cleaning out like a moldy grain bin, it's kind of like fermented, and it has like a very nice sweet smell.
All right. Is there anyone that needs to be sworn in still? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion to consider Resolution 1? Senator Oxner. It's been moved and seconded that we consider Resolution 1. Will the author please come forward? Yep.
First time up here. Okay. Resolution 1921 by Jansen Penny, Ollie Karamali, and Noah Oxner. Whereas the position of Chief of Staff was sufficiently advertised via an application made available to all students who showed interest in Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Whereas an informational session and opportunities to gain further insight about the Chief of Staff position were sufficiently advertised. Whereas there were 4 applicants for this position, and whereas the individual was chosen on the basis of leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the students of Kansas State University throughout the term. Be it resolved that Section 1, Sadie Polson be approved as the Chief of Staff.
All right. With that, are there any questions or corrections for the author? All right. Seeing none, can I grab that back from you?
Yes.
All right. If there are no questions or corrections, is there any additional debate on this resolution? All right. If not, is there a motion on this resolution? Senator Hines? It's been moved and seconded that we unanimously approve Resolution 1. If there are no objections, Resolution 1 is unanimously approved. Sadie Polson, if you could come to the front. Is it you? I got you. Okay, and where it says office, name of office, Chief of Staff.
Perfect. Okay. Sadie, raise your right hand and repeat after me and say I do at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Chief of Staff and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Perfect.
I don't want this.
You want to introduce yourself again?
Hey guys, I'm Sadie. Favorite smell is still burning pasture.
All right. Are there any committee chairs who would like to give a report? I don't think there's any committees meeting. Are there any directors who would like to give a report? All right. Seeing none, we will now move into general orders. This is a little different, and we really only have this twice a year on our agenda. So as I sent out in the agenda on last night, we're going to move into nominations for Speaker of the Student Senate. please ask questions if you don't understand, but basically what will happen is someone has to make a nomination of an individual for Speaker of the Student Senate, and someone else has to second it. Just like everything happens in Senate, a motion is made, and then a second has to happen, and then the person that is nominated and seconded has to accept or decline. And if they accept, we'll call all of those people up to the front of the room, randomly shuffle them, and organize like speech order. And then each of those candidates will give a 10-minute speech with 5 minutes for a follow-up question and answer period. And then that will be the end of our meeting tonight. And then next week will be the official vote. Are there any questions on the process that's about to happen? Okay, wonderful. With that, I will now open the floor for nominations. Senator Lux. It's been moved and seconded to nominate Senator Hannah Heatherman for Speaker of the Student Senate. Senator Heatherman, do you accept? All right. Further nominations? Senator Leverett. It's been moved and seconded to nominate Lily Colburn for Speaker of the Student Senate. Senator Colburn, do you accept? Further nominations? Senator Rivera. Can you for Speaker of the Student Senate? There you go. All right. It's been moved and seconded to nominate Vedant Kulkarni for Speaker of the Student Senate. Vedant, do you accept? Wonderful. Further nominations for Speaker of the Student Senate? All right. Seeing none, Hannah, Lily, and Vedant, if the three of you could please come to the front of the room, we will figure out a way to find the order of speeches. Alrighty. Just so you all know, we have found the order of the speeches, and it is going to be Vedant Kulkarni first, second will be Hannah Heatherman, and third will be Lily Colburn. And again, kind of like procedural deal, both Lily and Hannah are going to wait in the Center for Student Involvement while the other candidates wait outside of the room while the candidate in the room is presenting. So with that, you have 10 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Allow me to begin with introducing myself. My name is Vedant Kulkarni, and I'm an international student here at K-State. I'm originally from Nasik, India. It's a small town near Mumbai, and I'm a sophomore studying Management Information Systems and Journalism. As you can see, I am running for the position of Speaker of Student Senate, and I want to share with you why I think I'm the better candidate. I got involved with student government in the freshman year through the Accelerated Fellowship Program. My presence on this platform of student government to run for the Speaker of Student Senate is pretty unlikely. As an international student, it was difficult to even get involved with SGA, let alone think about and then receive the opportunity to run for Speaker. After getting elected as a senator last year, I received the opportunity to be the Student Engagement Committee Chair, and my experience as a committee chair has benefited me greatly throughout the last year. An essential aspect of being a speaker is to chair SGA Executive Committee. My time as a committee chair has made me really proficient in being able to chair committee meetings. In meetings, I try to be a listener, listening to all sides of arguments before making any decisions. As a speaker, I wish to chair the SGA committees in a way where I will be a vital listener, listen carefully, and understand all sides of an argument before coming to a decision. The most important responsibility the speaker has is to preside over student senate meetings. Throughout my 2 years at K-State and my time in SGA, I have been able to develop crucial leadership skills required to preside over Senate meetings. I possess knowledge about Robert's rule of debates, and I believe I'm proficient at holding debates while remaining neutral on the issues being debated. My personality as being a centrist individual, may it be on political opinions or any decision making, has benefited me and made me an individual who stays neutral throughout the debates, but who also knows when to stand for justice and what's right. The speaker needs to take both sides of an argument. The speaker needs to take both sides of an argument into account and chair the Senate without letting their views cloud their judgment. I'm sure that as the speaker, I would never enforce my opinions on anyone and preside over the Senate in an impartial, unbiased, nonpartisan way and follow objectives that I'm elected to serve with an open mind. An essential responsibility of speaker is to supervise student Senate secretary, the student Senate parliamentarian, the committee chairs. As the speaker, I look forward to accomplishing the task of having a high level of cooperation between all committee chairs, the parliamentarian, the secretary, as well as the executive branch and the judicial branch. I wish to assist all senators in achieving their personal goals in student government, along with the caucus goals and their committee goals. Lastly, and the most significant responsibility of the speaker is that he or she or they have to be a student voice to K-State faculty, administration, and to state leaders. In my time at K-State, I have served as the Vice President of Speak McKay KSU, Treasurer of Speak McKay KSU, volunteered for International Students and Scholars Services, worked as the Welcome Ambassadors, spoke at multiple events, including KSU Night 2018 and Strengths in Action, My Strength Stories Brought to Life 2018, served as a student senator for College of Business, served as the Student Engagement Committee Chair, got elected as the Vice President of the Union Governing Board, and I'm also an official speaker for the International Speakers Bureau at K-State. I've also served on Strategic Enrollment Management's Student Success Task Force and Student Advisory Work Group. All these participations have given me the opportunity to interact with and have relations with leaders on our campus like Dr. Bosco, deans of numerous colleges, the director of ISS, the director of the union, the office of provost, and many more, including the former mayor of Manhattan, Usha Reddy. As the speaker, I would occasionally have to meet with President Myers and other executive members of K-State administration, as well as attend the faculty senate and represent the student voice. I plan on doing so firmly with confidence. As the speaker, I will ensure that K-State faculty, administration, and the state leaders hear the voice of the student body represented through you, the student senators, and thereby see to it that SGA accomplishes its goals of assisting the student body in achieving success on our campus. On a personal note, I know how difficult it could be for students to reach out to help. May it be students reaching out to SGA or senators reaching out to other senators. I have experienced how intimidating student government can be. And I know a majority of you might be feeling overwhelmed with this opportunity, and I hence look forward to being a speaker who is extremely approachable, calm, and open-minded, and a speaker who will help you achieve your goals and your objectives in student government. After all, we rise by uplifting others, and I know if I help you rise, and you will uplift the student body and make this university more inclusive, and together we will make the student body feel more welcomed at our university. I was in the Accelerated Fellowship Program, and when I got involved in SGA, I had no mentors, but my fellow senators helped me, and I owe a massive debt to the previous speaker. In the way I was empowered, I wish to enable the new Student Senate to engage with and support the student body, and thereby promote and create equity of representation in student government. Thank you.
All right. With that, what questions are there for Vedant Kulkarni? Senator Hines.
So the process that I have experienced is where we had to fill out an application for it, and then depending on the results, we also had to give an interview, and along with the SGA advisor, I conduct the interview and then select the committee chairs. So I plan on following that and ensuring that senators who are interested, who are really passionate about certain issues that they want to cover, get to be a part of the committee or the committee chair.
Further questions? Senator Wojciechowski.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know it, we last year created the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, or the DEI Committee, by combining the Special Committee and the Student Engagement Committee. The main focus is to ensure that the committee represents diverse voices from on campus and that all voices are heard by the student government. So as the speaker, and as a student coming from a community that is can be considered a minority community, the international students, I know how important it is for the representation of voices of all diverse backgrounds on campus. So I plan to do so by by having speakers from diverse groups come to DEI, share their experiences on campus with them, ensure that DEI then proceeds to further gives the opinions that they have got from the speakers to the Senate, and then Senate together works to ensure that all diverse and voices are represented. So like I said, we maintain equity in SGA.
Further questions? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for your speech tonight, Vinod. All right, and if we can go ahead and quiet down. Hannah Heatherman, you have 10 minutes for your speech.
Sorry, I want to let them sit down if that's okay. Okay, perfect. Right. Good evening. For those of you in the room who I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Hannah Heatherman, but if you hear any senators referred to as Heather, that's probably me as well. And as you figured out at this point, I aspire to be the next Speaker of the Student Senate. Over the course of the last month, I've been diligently trying to meet with pretty much everybody in the room. And while it's been a crazy and busy time, I'm far more eager now to be up here before you today than I thought I would when I first began this process. And I want to try to single meeting that I've had with any of you, whether you have a vote or not in this room. It's all provided so much valuable insight and has really solidified everything that I'm about to speak to you about tonight. And with that being said, I'm going to jump right in by talking about my experience as a student senator this past year. So my experience in SGA has been a little atypical. Last year, this time, 7 days after I was sworn in for the first time, in no SGA experience, I got up behind this podium and I ran for the position of Speaker Pro Tempore. And while I was obviously not elected to that position, I've told several of you that I'll never regret running for it because of the growth that I've experienced from that, and the way it jump-started my first terms and the connections that I both made and strengthened during that time. And in fact, I've told many of you that I consider it still my best decision in SGA. The energy and excitement, willingness to learn, and a true passion for having stronger caucus systems was developed during that period, and I was able to carry that throughout my whole term, and I'm really proud of the things that I, alongside my team members, have accomplished this year. But I do have to say that when I started my term, I was very timid and I was scared, and I doubted everything because there's so much to learn. And I felt like I couldn't start any project because I was doing something wrong, or if I could think of something, then surely somebody else already had and was working on it, right? So experiences like these as a senator ultimately led me to my first platform that you'll see there of activating Student Senate. I think this is something that's brought up every year, and especially this time of year, in vague terms, but is rarely deliberate, planned, or executed in tangible steps, which that's kind of the reoccurring theme you'll see throughout here, is that I'm like a steps and a list person. So as your speaker, I would want this to be as intentional as possible. So my goal is to have a one-on-one meeting with every senator by the beginning of September of this year. I've heard great feedback from outgoing interns and both of our intern coordinators on how they did one-on-ones with Phase 2 interns, and I think it holds just as much value when applied to Speaker of the Senate and senators. I think that oftentimes our SGA leadership can work their way into this view that, like, oh, Student Senate is just so apathetic and nobody wants to do anything. However, I think this is rarely true. Kind of what I spoke about before, I think that many of us just don't know how to start. And by allowing ourselves as leaders to hold that mindset that everyone's apathetic, we're doing a disservice to the people who elected you by not trying to help them achieve their own goals and objectives they established at the beginning of their term. So my goal is to pull themes from these one-on-one conversations and connect you all to others who want to see similar areas of change happen on campus, and to help provide these groups with initial steps and resources that they need to be successful. Furthermore, I'd be continuously communicating with Jansen and Ollie on opportunities for cabinet positions to collaborate with senators who have overlapping interests with their initiatives. The three of us have already been able to start that conversation, and I think I can say all three of us are ready to see more collaboration there. Another thing that I've learned throughout my term is that for many of us, our experience in our committees can really make or break our whole perception of our SGA experience. Last year, I had the privilege of serving on a committee that was generally high performing, but there were also times that it was apparent we all thought in very similar ways. And that really became a hindrance to us at certain points of the year, and especially at one point of the year. Which brings me to my second platform of deliberate committee selection and oversight. This year, I want this body to have committee applications that allows you to share your strengths, your experiences, what perspective you can bring to each of our 6 standing committees. Names and identifying information at that point for selection would be removed from your application, so you know it's unbiased and that you're going to be on a committee for a reason. And as a team, those committee chairs would build those committees together. I think that each of these committees need to have like an appropriate balance of strengths domains for that particular committee. So that's like your relationship building, executing, etc. And every voice should be able to be heard in that committee. Following selection, I plan to attend a standing committee meeting every week and have a meeting with a committee chair weekly as well. I want to be able to be in your committees more often. I want to experience the culture of every committee and see the great work that you're doing and just be more present to you. My goal with changing the way we do committees isn't just to have these super high output, high performing committees, but also to be sure that every single person can derive value and like a fulfilling experience from being a part of that group, as I was able to this last year. Over the last couple of weeks, I've also been informed multiple times how important it is that the speaker is familiar with the governing documents. And so early on this past year, way before I knew I wanted to run for this position, I spent a lot of time in the governing documents trying to figure out if I could work on certain projects and like if it was allowed to do that because I didn't quite understand yet. And I realized that they like contradicted themselves a bunch. Like one page of the bylaws would say one thing and 3 later it would have a totally different process. So I was able to be a part of a working group to address that issue, but also able to engage interns in that process. And I think some, especially now Senator Booz, like that was his thing. So it was really fun to see him thrive in that role. And we were able to make some preliminary changes that weren't substantive. But my platform today is about substantive changes that I think need to be addressed both by the Speaker, by Senate, and SGA leadership. These include our elections code. If you were here last week, we had a resolution in support of creating a formalized body to address elections code revisions. And I think the best way to do this is the creation of a special committee on elections reform. Additionally, I think that SGA leadership really needs to reevaluate our Senate attendance policy. So there has to be a balance, and I'm not sure if we've quite found it, between being accountable to the students that elected you while also having flexibility built into the fact that we are, in fact, students first. Lastly, I want to be sure that we're properly following our ratification process for constitutional amendments. And I don't want to get into too much depth here to like put you guys to sleep, but when we do constitutional amendments, they're supposed to be sent out to all the college councils, but we currently have some college councils that aren't meeting at all. So I would like to see those college councils up and running and us be able to follow that process, because it gives senators a good opportunity to engage not only with their college council members, but the dean of their college, and it gives them some ownership on what we're doing in SGA. With all that being said, this year I really, I plan to engage senators, be deliberate about the way our committees function, and restructure our governing documents. I very quickly dove into SGA, and it was like 1 second I was learning everything, and like the next it was just kind of all consuming to a certain extent. And this year, not trying to make it sound like a senior speech, but really this year, just especially like the intern class and other new senators I was coming in with, I've just watched so many people in this room and myself like the same grow in so many different ways. And I look forward to having a great term with you all. With these 3 platforms before you, I hope to lead you, the 2019-2020 Senate, to an efficient and fulfilling term.
Time for the speakers expired. Is there a motion to extend? All right. Are there any questions for our speaker? Senator Hines.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. So I haven't served as a voting member on TFSC. However, I have made it a priority to attend TFSC meetings and see what that process looks like, both when the College of Business fee was under review, and then again a few times with engineering. I would say that I've had experience on allocations committees, and I know it's not the same thing at all. And while like there's no major requirement for speaker, I would just say like as a finance major, I think that I would be a good candidate to, you know, make students at large and students from a variety of different backgrounds to be able to explain financial statements, especially if they're just viewing them for the first time. And I think I could leverage that.
Further questions? Senator Wojciechowski.
Yeah. So I wasn't a voting member on special committee on membership, but as you know, I was able to attend a lot. So I think I have a clear picture of what the larger picture, like vision for that committee is in terms of getting it off the ground. I think that, starts with a chair who that's their passion and that selection process. And I guess for goals, I think something, especially if we do have that special committee on elections, is towards the end being able to talk about how are we going to empower students from different backgrounds to run for Senate, and not just run for Senate, but be successful in doing so. So as I've been thinking about the DE&I committee, that's one of the things that's come to mind.
All right, are there any additional questions? Senator Spellman.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in my first platform, I've already kind of been talking to Jansen and Ollie about how to specifically get senators engaging with different cabinet initiatives and vice versa, so that the directors themselves have more of, I guess, a network of people to help them execute those tasks, and then it creates a more fulfilling experience for senators as well. When it comes to judicial, I think some of that's having more presence of judicial and Senate to educate, because it seems like we don't have, we never really get that piece unless it's in an intern meeting or in new senator education, or unless it's in reaction to an event that's happened on campus. And I think we need to be more proactive about everybody fully understanding that process. And I think that's where some of that comes in as well.
All right, are there any more questions for our speaker? Senator King?
I just have a question about your third platform, the attendance policy. You say that you have you want to have a comprehensive review. Could you maybe speak to what some things that you would like to see change with the attendance policy?
Yeah, so this has actually been a conversation started by former now President Keel, and she and Miranda had put some work into talking about a Senate point system. And now that idea has been brought to the table, I think it's just important that SGA leadership, but also Senate exec is able to go into that with much more detail, because if we were to potentially move to something like a point system, it would be logistically kind of difficult, and we'd have to as a group and with senators on board, really look through what all the specifications of that would be.
All right, are there any more questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. All right, our final speech this evening will be from Lily Colburn. If you are ready, you have 10 minutes for your speech.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Lily Colburn. I'm a freshman studying political science and environmental science, if you forgot that from earlier, and I'm from right here in Manhattan, Kansas. Tonight, I just want to kind of tell you the story of my SGA experiences that I've had thus far, and why I feel they best prepare me to be your speaker. For me, that story starts with where I'm from, like many others. I was born and raised here in Manhattan, Kansas, so despite my young age, as a townie, I already have deep ties and connections to this university and community. Practically growing up on this campus allowed me to really get a running start when I moved into the residence halls this year. And since I was already adjusted and campus already felt like home, I was able to get involved immediately from the get-go. In my first month on campus, I attended the intern program meetings and really felt like I found a community of driven, focused individuals who I would be fortunate to get to spend my next 4 years with here at this university. I was also quickly chosen by the College of Arts and Sciences caucus to be the sole representative for the college on the Tuition and Fees Strategy Committee, one of the most important committees here at this university that is unique to K-State. With both the intern program and TFSC starting so early on, I was immediately thrown into places I honestly wasn't quite comfortable or prepared for. The intern program provided a lot of information and personal connections very quickly. And in TFSC, we were given a 300-page orientation packet 8 hours before our first meeting. I dived into each of these experiences and owned every one of them. But it made me realize and long for a different, more accessible way to receive all of the information that I was provided so early on in the year. It was then that I first thought about an SGA Canvas page. I also serve on the university recycling committee that's under the provost, and we use a Canvas page to share documents and presentations and connect with one another on the committee. I found that it worked fabulously because I checked Canvas way more than I should during the day, so I was able to stay up to date on different things going on. If elected speaker, I would create an SGA Canvas page with easy to understand educational documents like a senator handbook, and also upload governing documents and the presentations that we've been using in new senator trainings, so that when we experience questions, we have documents that are easy to read and understand that anyone can access at any time throughout the year. Once the intern program really got going, I got the opportunity to attend the Tilford Conference on Diversity and Multiculturalism. This is a statewide conference that is available to Kansas Board of Regents universities. Despite only knowing one person who was going to the conference, I decided to take a risk and drive 2.5 hours with 9 strangers. The content of the conference was amazing, insightful, and informative, and it drove my focus, as many of you know, for the coming months. However, creating the relationships with the other attendees proved to be the most impactful. With the underlying context of inclusion and diverse perspectives, we were able to bond on another level. And every person with that who was on that trip, I now call close friends. For this reason, as speaker, I would organize regular small group Wildcat Dialogue style discussions to foster intentional, purpose-driven relationships between senators, interns, directors, present judicial members, and any students who decide to come to Senate. I envision these being monthly discussions centered around various relevant topics that impact us and our constituents, such as race, gender, and affordability. These groups would be a mixture of people to engage everyone across colleges and through different branches. We can bond over shared experiences and passions relating to issues that affect all of us and all students. I also hope that these discussions will help senators explore avenues and ideas for new legislations and projects to work on. After continuing discussions at Tilford, I worked with the current speaker, Ryan, to create the special committee on membership for the 4th year in a row. Creating and chairing my own committee was, again, insightful and rewarding and definitely challenging. I went into it with some experience from high school to lean on, but I'll be the first to admit that I was a little bit over my head those first 2 meetings where over 25 SGA members showed up. Like any new committee chair, it took me a while to get my footing. And while I eventually got there, it would have been nice to have better training ahead of time to receive more information to help me and the committee. As speaker, I would organize facilitator training for every member of the Senate Executive Committee, or Senate Exec, and any senator who is interested in participating. Every person in Senate Exec regularly leads meetings across the organization and across the university. Ensuring that these individuals are good facilitators will make sure that we can more effectively help get through meetings and serve our students and meet our goals of committees. I know this will improve SGA in part because as chair of the Special Committee on Membership, I served on Senate Exec myself. Experiencing this committee was one of the most vital pieces of my leadership development here at K-State and experience in SGA. Working with leaders of our organization inspired me to work harder in my role and to look for further opportunities to get engaged. With this experience in mind, I would add college caucus leaders to Senate Exec if I was Speaker. Especially as we push to further expand caucus duties and outreach, caucus leaders have proven to be an important part of legislative leadership, so it's time we treated them as such. Including them will keep everyone more involved and accountable when it comes to the college caucus system as we ensure that they stay and become a more integral and important piece of Senate. More recently, I decided to run for Senate. Navigating expense reports and rules proved to be challenging. Despite going through it with a presidential campaign, we all know it was pretty rocky. And we all know that something needs to be done about elections. That's why I'm proposing a joint committee on elections. The joint committee would have an equal focus and representation between the judicial and legislative branches. I know that legislation doesn't have all of the answers. That's why we need to work with judicial to find, prioritize, and identify issues that exist in the election systems currently. Then senators and those in the legislative branch can leverage their expertise and familiarity and perspective in drafting sets of recommended changes along with judicial members for the entire committee to consider and then introduce to Senate. This will be a long-term process. It won't end by September and likely won't be done in time for the next election cycle. But just because we might not feel the immediate effects of the work does not make it less valid to pursue. We should not let time or the lack thereof prevent us from action. Whether looking at a daunting task like elections reform or taking on the role of speaker, we should look at ability, experience, and dedication. Don't let the number of years any candidate has been alive on this earth dissuade you from supporting them. Rather, objectively look to what they bring to the role of speaker. In short, yeah, I'm young, I'm kind of small, but I hope that after hearing my experiences and plans tonight that have already come from, I'll give it my short time in SGA, you see that I am qualified and ready to take on the role of speaker in every capacity and with all that I've got. Moving forward, I want to meet with anyone and everyone who would like to talk further about my platforms, my experience, what I'm about. I would also like to just chat, hear what I could do for you if I take the role of speaker and how I can support you in completing your goals and why you're here at Kansas State and why you're here as a senator. Thank you. I hope that we can find a time this week. You can contact me using those fun little contact methods at the bottom of that fancy little card. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening. I stand for questions.
All right. With that, are there any questions for our speaker? Intern Beasley. Senator Beasley.
Correct yourself. Mm-hmm.
What's your kind of like clarification on this vision? Is it about like a replacement for OrgSync? Yes.
No, sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. Are you good? Okay, no, I don't think it's going to be a replacement for OrgSync or Engage or what we're moving to. We're still going to need that to keep our files, and I do not want the Canvas page to be a place where we organize legislation. I think OrgSync, though as complicated as it is, works well for that. I think the Canvas page would simply, like we do for a class, have informational documents, so PowerPoints that are presented in Senate by committee members could be uploaded there and we receive them easily. And yes, there's ways to do this on OrgSync, but I think that OrgSync is good for the legislative process, but when it comes to us, when we actually, like how many of us actually check OrgSync and the different folders besides legislation, Canvas page would be good for announcements and organizing those types of things. And again, maybe it's just me, but I check Canvas like 30 times a day. So if there's something SGA related, maybe I'd be more likely to click on the little SGA card rather than logging into OrgSync on my phone, which is really difficult.
Follow up?
Yeah, so I don't totally know how like access to Canvas pages 100% work. I know you can make them relatively public, and I think this is the job of other individuals in SGA, but definitely as speaker, you have a role in increasing transparency and ensuring that the website and social media stay up to date. But definitely, I think that all members of SGA should be on the Canvas page so we can all be up to date as to what's going on and can kind of let people know what we do in Senate. I'd also like to add that we talked about doing this in the special committee this year for new senator training specifically, but just decided that with time-wise, it wasn't worth it to just do for new senator trainings, which is why I think that it should be a longer-term project for everyone.
Further questions? Senator Hines.
Yeah, so one of the things that I didn't talk about in my speech, one of the things I did talk about was tuition and fee strategies, which is different than an allocations committee, I realize, but I'm aware of like the finances of all of that and how that works. So that's a part of the experience that I have. But I served on student-centered tuition enhancement, which is an allocations committee. It's not a standing allocations committee, but we allocated funds to different startup projects and continuing projects across the university. So I have experience with that when it comes to having to cut certain groups, even though we might want to fund them. There's only limited funds for students. And when it comes to that, I understand that piece of it and kind of how that role works. I'll be honest in that I'm not on privilege fee, which is a large part of SGA's portion. But again, I think that the experience that I have with TFSC and SCTE show that I care and understand the student financial perspective and how those fees go, or how those fees operate and where they go to and how we disperse them as an organization. So yeah.
Follow up?
So how do you plan to select all the committee chairs and ensure the respective committees are balanced in membership with views, experiences, and skills?
Yeah, so I plan to like lean on others. So I think that I can do a good job of looking at applications and various different like qualifications of individuals, but I think that it should be a robust discussion between the speaker and whoever the pro tem is. And ultimately, yes, it is the speaker's decision, but I think that the idea that only one person has the sole control of that is not correct. When it comes to committee member selection, looking at what individuals' preferences are and backgrounds are in regarding experience on committees is obviously a big deal. I know that there's been some issues with that in the past. I've had a discussion with Attorney General Moyer about that and how he hates how that's done. And so I would be more than willing to reach out to individuals who are more on that statistician, electronic computer side of things that I don't have experience with maybe making that process better. While I might not have the answers to that, I know that others in the organization do, and I would not hesitate to reach out.
Time for questions has expired. Is there a motion to extend? Senator King. It's been moved and seconded to extend the speaker's time for questions by 10 minutes. If there are no objections, 10 more minutes for questions. Further questions? Senator Heisey.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though you're orienting that towards this body.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wonder is, do you have plans, or do you see, as part of that vision, extending that to the entire student body so that we have a better understanding, or they have a better understanding of what we're doing?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think that, the SGA Canvas page is a new idea, and how I've seen it operate on the Provost Recycling Committee is just within the committee itself. So I think kind of having an incubator trial year of just working on it with SGA and within SGA, at least a trial semester, and focusing and seeing how it works and operates within our body, and then opening it up and investigating and exploring those paths so that it is more public and so that committee reports and things like that are more open, I think is a really good idea and something that I want to do like eventually in the long term idea of the Canvas page. I also think that we need to further advertise the different ways that you can get information about Senate. So yeah, OrgSync is hard to navigate, but it does exist, and whatever we're moving to will exist and is open to students. So if we plug those documents and those links on our social media so that people can see that, and on like our SGA website, also the fact that all Senates are live streamed, I don't think many people know. I don't think I didn't know that they were live streamed until like I saw someone watching a live stream like after the fact. So letting people know that those happen, and when Senate is about to happen, letting people tweeting out those links so that they're shared more openly and more often.
Further questions? Senator Glasscock.
Can you speak to, for both the new and returning senators in the room, what you believe going forward is our most important duty to K-State as a whole?
Yeah, so I think, thanks for your question. I think that when it comes to Senate and issues that I've seen as an intern, I think we need to do a better job of listening to students and the top student concerns. And I think we are all cognizant of that and cognizant of how that works, and that we should be doing that. But I think using mechanisms of outreach like the new diversity, equity, and inclusion outreach mechanism, and also college caucuses, and encouraging senators and SGA members generally to reach out to students and ask them what they want to see from SGA, and reaching out to organizations saying, look, maybe you want to be a senator, and we'd love to help you in that through our intern program and other things, but we recognize that we're SGA student government nerds, but you might not be. How can we help you and work with you to fill those needs that you see if you don't necessarily want to hold the seat yourself? I think it would be great if this body eventually became representative of the students that we represent one day through like descriptive representation, but I understand that that isn't, one, going to be possible in the next couple of years. That change is slow, but two, even if you don't necessarily look or believe or fall into the same categories or identities that all other students do, that doesn't mean that we can't represent them and reach out to them. I don't have all the answers when it comes to what a student wants. Every student is different and unique, and encouraging students and encouraging senators to reach out to students is, I think, something that we could do a better job of and needs to be a priority moving forward, and I think will help solve a lot of the other problems that we routinely see in Senate, and this disconnect between us as a body and students generally can help solve all of those other problems that I think come second.
Further questions? Senator King.
Mm-hmm.
A big thing that we do a lot of is attendance.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think that there could be any changes that can be made to our attendance policy to have a better way to hold all of us in this room more accountable?
Yeah, and so thank you for that question. And I think I've had some experience in this working in other organizations, one in leadership ambassadors and a couple other things. We use a point system, and I think it takes a lot of energy to move to a point system. I'm not advocating for that at all. But one of the things that I've really noticed and valued in different organizations that really upholds those attendance standards, unlike SGA sometimes does, is that before someone is kicked out, before the problem gets too bad, is sitting down and having a one-on-one conversation about why are you missing Senate? Why are you missing your committee meetings? I think that should come first. I think the second someone has an excused absence, sitting down and having a conversation about that and ensuring that it won't move forward and continue to be a problem is where those solutions and that proactiveness comes from before we look at completely overhauling the attendance system. And having those personal connections and asking why is a really great way to ensure that senators stay engaged and don't feel like they're being punished for something that maybe they didn't know they had to fill out a proxy form or things like that. So ensuring that that happens first. And then if we continue to have issues with attendance, working with Senate Ops and being welcoming of change as a body when it comes to our attendance standards, I think is also really important.
Granted.
Yeah.
I know that we, in this last session, we had a working group
Mm-hmm.
that was doing a lot of working, and Shelby Carpenter was doing a lot of work with that.
Mm-hmm.
In your, if you were to become speaker, what would be some key things that you would look at in trying to revamp our governing documents? Would that be a priority for you?
Yeah, it definitely would be. And I think looking at the governing documents and not having the statutes on OrgSync linked has been a real challenge for a lot of individuals and a lot of people. I think we all saw that privilege fee debate when we were all like, a whole bunch of group of people were standing and giving their 2 cents about the interpretation of things. So I think that everything can generally be more clear. And I also like that does need to go through like a fine-tooth comb looking and how can we make this more clear? Does this exist? And again, like the Joint Committee on Elections, working with judicial on that. I'm a pre-law student, but I don't know legalese, and working with judicial branch that has a little bit more expertise when it comes to how vague something should be versus how specific something should be, so that we have some room to grow and some room to change, while also giving a clear answer to questions that need a clear answer, I think is really important. So definitely I would work with Senate Ops to create a working group again if that's needed, which I think it is. I think it is needed, but yeah, working to create a group that involves all students or all senators and across branches, I think is really important moving forward and should be a priority, because if we don't understand how we're supposed to run reading our documents, then we can't run as an organization.
All right, are there any more questions for Lily? Senator Booz.
I don't think they already exist on OrgSync. So when you present a presentation, you're supposed to like email it to the speaker, parliamentarian, and secretary so that they can put it up for you. So those individuals already have those presentations and things, so it'd be pretty easy for them to upload it rather than having individuals upload it. But if they don't get it, then they can make sure to, or senators could upload it themselves or anyone who gives a report. But I don't think that what's already on OrgSync will necessarily be what's on the Canvas page. I think that should be more clear, concise, informational documents like the presentations and new senator trainings, just like a professor, again, would upload a PowerPoint, uploading those. Now, I could be wrong. I haven't looked through every single folder on OrgSync, so maybe those are uploaded somewhere, but I know that we probably, most of us, don't look at them. And there's also not a senator, like, handbook. So, because we did talk about that. There's an intern program handbook or an intern handbook that Nathan and Sadie worked on. And again, for new senator trainings, we talked about making one of those. And I think we could work exactly off of what they did, because they did a great job making those intern handbooks. So making one for senators in the first place, whether or not we have a Canvas page, maybe you all hate that idea, but having those documents available somehow at the very least is probably my first priority.
Further questions? Senator Hines.
As Speaker, how will you ensure that Senate represents, protects, and serves all students on campus, no matter those students' beliefs and views, even if they may differ from your own or the majority of the Senate?
Yeah. So I think my experience on the Special Committee on Membership and what I learned at the Tilford Conference for Diversity and Multiculturalism really touch and speak to that. I'll be honest, I'm a white woman. I am of middle class family, and I hold a lot of identities that sure a lot of other people do, but there are a lot of people on this campus who don't hold those identities and don't have people to always stand up for them, and we don't do a great job of including those voices. And I think SGA does do a good job of welcoming students, and we do have great people who work to represent students of diverse and different backgrounds from my own. But I know that I'm sorry, I'm going to shout you out, Michael. You know, he has said, he represents minorities. He has said to me, he represents minority students in the College of Arts and Sciences because he doesn't feel like white senators like myself would necessarily. So one, I think I and others need to do a better job at representing those students and reaching out to those students and asking them what they want and what they need from our university, so that the burden isn't simply on who we consider diverse or individuals who hold diverse identities of this group do. And again, touching on my experience in the special committee, me personally and my examples of that, one, attending the Tilford Conference on Multicultural and Diversity put me outside of my comfort zone and opened me up to new horizons. And then also the special committee under my direction created the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee that gives a designated, long-lasting, long-standing home to ensuring that we reach out to student organizations, and specifically student organizations who represent communities that are historically underrepresented everywhere, but especially in Senate. And I think making sure and working with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion committee chair to ensure that we get a demographic survey done right away so that we can identify issues and areas to reach out to first and create a priority list is something that I would take very seriously as as speaker, and something that I really look forward to doing, working with the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee to ensure that Senate recognizes that they are an important committee and they will do a lot of work, and every senator needs to hold up their end of the bargain and not just put all issues of diversity onto one committee, but instead do it all together.
Time for the speakers expired. Is there a motion to extend questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much, Lily.
Do I need to go get Veda on him?
All right, we'll wait a second, and then when the three of them get back, we'll go ahead and finish up with our meeting. All right, Senate, we'll go ahead and keep moving along with our agenda for the evening. Senate, if we could please keep it down, we'll go ahead and finish up. All right, we'll now move into second open period. Are there any speakers for second open period? Senator Heatherman. All right, questions? Seeing none, further speakers? Caucus Leader Senator Kidd.
Two quick things. So if you are a grassroots senator, there's more of us here tonight than I thought. So we'll be meeting right back in my corner over here just to have a quick powwow and talk and know each other, all the fun stuff. So again, if you're a grassroots senator, meet back here for just a quick second. And then my second thing was that for some of you that don't know, I work for the Alumni Association. I'm the assistant director of student program. So part of my job involves coordinating homecoming. So although homecoming is so many months away, my position is just busy with getting everything planned for student stuff fun and the great time in October. So with that, I'm in the process of really wanting to work to encourage more student participation and involvement during homecoming. And so I thought, what better way than to mention it to all of our student leaders here in this room. So more information will be brought up at one of our all-you meetings at the end of April 29th on Monday. And so if you are in any student organizations, or if you know of anyone that wants to get more involved with homecoming, just feel free to shoot them my way. And go Cats.
All right, questions for Marcus? Not a question? Further speakers? Ali?
Hey guys, cabinet applications close next Wednesday, April 10th at midnight. So if you have any questions about them, email Jansen, Sadie, or I. We will sit down, chat with you, answer any questions, and we would love to see more people apply.
Questions? All right, further speakers? Okay, seeing none, I will now look for a motion to adjourn. Just kidding, we'll move into second roll call.
Al Abdullah, Al Madani, Beasley, Betancourt, Booz, Burke, Carlson, Clements, Colburn, Cruz, Dowd, Garcia, Gillian King, Gillespie, Glasscock, Gertson, Grover, Hamlin, Heatherman, Hines, Howie, Huffman, Javin, Kavanaugh, Kerperin, Kidd, King, Koger, Coleman, Leverett, Lux, Matos, Meinhardt, Newport, Oxner, Orzakowski, Pelton, Bruce, Rice, Rivera, Reichert, Seichter, Smith, Ben Snyder, Blaine Snyder, Spellman, Spencer, Stone Street, Wallace, Ward, Watkins, and Whitmer. All right, with that, we have 47 senators present, 0 excused, and 9 absent. If you guys have any, if I missed you guys or anything, just come and see me after the meeting. We'll get it taken care of.
All right. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, Lord. Senator Koger. All right. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. If there are no objections? What? All right. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. If there are no objections, we're adjourned.